Hello everybody, this is Maniac4Bricks, and I'm here today with another What I've Built. This one is going to be all Atlantis themed because I picked up a haul from Brickin It Up where he had a whole bunch of these as a big lot. These are all sets that I have not previously owned except for this one. It's pretty basic. And we'll just go over my quick thoughts about this before we do any reviews for it on YouTube. The reviews are probably up for much later than this is being recorded. But first of all, thanks Brickin It Up for all of these sets. Now let's jump on left to right with all the sets. This is an underwater sub, and actually I have it in the open position because you can actually take the sides off and open it up so you can see more of the inside and have it a bit of as a display piece. So it has this stand with it which allows it as kind of like a docking station, and if you really turn it around you can see a lot of features in here. I really do like a lot of the detail that's put inside of here, just the way that it's built. You actually have some room for minifigures to sit and work, and you even have room for the pilot. I did move the chair back a little bit to fit him with the helmet on there because it's normally not in that position. I also like the map that's included in here as well as the other stuff there. I also like the windows that are done on both sides. It's actually a nice construction for that and fits pretty well with the rest of the stuff. Also, just this area, pretty basic but pretty useful. And you know, you got the crane, you got that little mini sub. There's only like a little bit that I would ask for improvement on this, and that would basically be, I want to knock it over. Basically, it would just be a little bit on the front. This is a little bit loose there, and I kind of would have liked it there. It's another way to attach it underneath and just fill in the holes there. Not really much to say on that, but it's a really cool model. It's a really good size for fitting divers in there. I actually have a couple extra divers from the assemblies, and they don't really go to any other of the sets, so these are just nice things to have extra with Atlantis. Next up, we have Gateway of the Squid, and this was a set I've longed for a while. I just wasn't really sure how well it was built or how well the play features worked, but now I'm finding out they work out pretty well. So one of the main things is that you have this giant squid that's on top. You can move around the tentacles on him, and you have this play feature on the back where if you turn the knob, you can spin his teeth. The problem is the teeth sometimes get in the way of the tentacles or vice versa, so you really do have to move around a couple pieces in order to make that spinning motion work. Also, if you look at it in certain angles, you don't really get it very well because it does have a hollow, inside. You can kind of see the gray inside of there and just kind of how the operation works, but still looks pretty nice. Good size for the set. The smaller squid that we have over here, basically you can take that off and you can trap people inside of there just by closing up all the points on the ends. You also got the Squid Warrior here, which is pretty cool. Very much like that figure. Other than that, you actually do have play features on here. So you have to have the treasure key on the stand, otherwise it won't work without it. Let me see if I can take it off, because if you try to spin this, it doesn't do anything. But when you put the treasure key on there, and then you turn it, you can actually make this work. You have to turn this counterclockwise to the left to open up the gate, and that's really cool. And then you turn it clockwise to close it back up. It actually works as a very simple but very unique play function where you have some pulleys that are operating it with elastic bands. The one on this side is actually in a figure eight so that it does it in the opposite direction and works out very well. The problem is if you try to open it too much, it will move in the way of things, and depending on what's behind there, they won't move at the same speed necessarily, or this one might be a little bit more static when opening or closing. So it still works pretty well for the most part. Then back here you have a treasure chest, which is on a simple stand, and you have a knob back here so that you can kind of see it underneath. You can move this trap door so that it opens the trap door, and you can throw a figure in there, and you also get rid of the treasure chest itself. So that would be a nice little trap for the divers. I'm going to ignore the logic that obviously you can swim around this. You don't really need it to open up in order to get in there, but I'm just going to go along and not really worry about that. I'm also not going to worry about it with our next model, the last model for this video, the Portal of Atlantis. This is a very impressive build, but very easy to build. Not too bad, pretty comprehensive in the instructions. These two sides are actually built the same way, so if you wanted to cut down some of the time to build them, you could actually build them in the mirror form, you know, where you build it like side by side. You know, this is the left side, this is the right side of each of these. They use the same pieces except for a few. We'll talk about those more later. It has a lot of play features to it. This one's actually pretty cool. A nice large shark head with a good build to it, and basically you can open this up and it'll open the sides of it, so you can actually have a minifigure walk up the stairs. Again, you could float through it because underwater, blah blah blah. But the problem is, if you close this, it doesn't always close both sides. This time it's only doing it on the right side, but usually it does on the left side where it doesn't quite open or close the right way. But for the most part, opening fine, closing not as much. You see there? Alright, so a lot of nice figures that go into this set. I actually did get that one a while ago before getting this set, so that's cool. There's also these sharks on the side. They're supposed to be statues, but then they come to life in this series, and they're interesting. Nice little builds for sharks, and you actually do have a way of opening up the mouth on them. The problem is these teeth are too large for the shark's size, and kind of goofy looking in my opinion. I think it would have been a lot nicer if they had a little bit more of a bottom jaw than a top jaw when it comes to the teeth, or at least have something a little bit more significant to put underneath to see that, you know, it's open. But they could have used smaller teeth pieces here, and I think it would have worked a lot better. Otherwise, you know, nice fin. It does have a tendency to tilt on here, but I guess that really depends on how well you just position that. You can always put a friction pin in there and change it up. Other than that, let's see. We'll go up to the top where there's a really nice portal build. This is the same type of construction and play feature that's done in the newer Elves sets. One of the sets that came out, I believe, last year. You have, again, the same principle applies. You have to have the key in here, and you could really have any of them. I just chose to have these on there because of the instructions, but you have to have the key in there, otherwise it won't spin or anything. And basically, you can turn this. This time you have to turn it clockwise in order to open this up. And there we have a treasure underneath. So you can actually turn that back, and it creates a nice swirl effect. And this is actually really cool when you see it towards the back, how this is done. And also we'll take a look at the back for the other features and other things that I like about this set. So let me see if I can open that up again. So there we can see it. It actually turns in the center and then has a few gears to turn it onto the side here. This will push all the other pieces around, and because they're loose friction, they will just push the rest of it along the side there. And sometimes this one leans out, but it's not really that big a deal, in my opinion. But still a pretty cool feature, and I would like to build that on my own and have maybe the same color pieces there for the swirl, in order to, you know, use it for other things. Other than that, down here, here's are the things that are unique about this side versus the other side. You have a table here, which kind of looks like it's a lab, because there's a frog inside of this jar, and then you have what looks like potions there, and then you have a couple of weapons on that side. There's also a weapon rack on this side, but also has different weapons on there, and no second table or anything in that space. You also have in the middle, this is kind of also another thing that's carried over into some of the newer, larger sets. This is a similar thing to one of the sets with Nexo Knights, is that they have a bed underneath here. I really don't know why that's there in this Atlantis story, or why they had the lab over on that side, or why they even have a whip and handcuffs on that side. But anyways, it's there. Just noting that it's there. And also, this is pretty cool that they have a little area for a study. You have that same treasure map that was shown in the Atlantis sub that we saw in the beginning of the video. And then you have the top up here, of course. So this is a really cool set. And actually, you could fold this up if you needed more storage space. So you can give it a whole new look there. And that actually works out pretty nicely from the front, if we put it out there, so you can save space. So it's a really nice set. I really recommend it. It has a lot of nice features, a lot of nice pieces, pretty easy build, I would say, or at least, you know, it's a comprehensive build, you know, so it doesn't take too much effort outside of normal building when it comes to putting it together. Some things are repeated builds. Like I said, some things are mirrored builds. But for the most part, it's not that bad. And as far as the play features, they're easy to put together. So there's a look at all of our Atlantis sets. Again, thank you to Brickin It Up. And I will actually be coming up with a couple theories thanks to these, because I didn't even know about the map being in that set, and that set being the same one as in one of the SpongeBob sets. And I already have a theory going, a brick theory. I'll be, working on it for a future video for that. I'll also be working on the crossover as well as other things. And maybe just as a quick preview, I'll give you a look at the, well, maybe I'll do it at another time. No, wait, I'm going to do it now. But I thought, maybe we'll take a look at what I'm working on now. This is the Weekly Fact of Lego video about Lego babies. So I basically went through Brick Set, looked up a whole bunch of Lego babies, and there's a ton of them. I mean, not really a lot of types, but a lot of variants. And as such, I'm going through, finding every single set and writing down, which ones they are. This is the brick list that I have going for it right now, and documenting when these, when the different types came out, what all the different types are. It's a big list. Just putting it out there. But hopefully I'll be working on that and having that video done soon. This is the one that I said took about 4 hours of research alone thus far. So, we'll see you next time with more LEGO videos.